My nephew Bradley Thompson posted my private Alzheimer's diagnosis on social media as comedy content for his 400,000 followers, complete with mocking commentary about crazy old Aunt Rose forgetting where she put her marbles, while positioning himself as the patient family member dealing with my embarrassing decline, never suspecting he was targeting Rose Elizabeth Hartwell, the former senior partner at Hartwell, Morrison and Associates, one of Chicago's most prestigious and comprehensive legal consequences that would follow him for the rest of his life. Before I reveal how I systematically documented every screenshot, every malicious comment, every monetized view of my private medical information, and every calculated attempt to profit from my supposed cognitive decline that would result in federal privacy violations, intentional infliction of emotional distress, defamation per se, and complete testamentary exclusion that would destroy not just his inheritance expectations but his entire social media empire, career prospects, and any possibility of escaping the devastating legal consequences of targeting the one person in his entire family whose specialized expertise in estate law, inheritance protection, and family litigation would guarantee his immediate detection of every legal vulnerability, comprehensive exploitation of every procedural advantage, and complete personal annihilation through the most sophisticated estate planning and litigation strategies ever deployed against a family member who committed the ultimate legal miscalculation. Let me paint you the picture of what he saw versus the reality he never suspected, a miscalculation so catastrophic that it would transform his attempt to monetize my medical privacy into the most thoroughly documented case of inheritance forfeiture in Cook County probate court history, providing my legal team with irrefutable evidence for maximum penalties under federal privacy statutes and complete exclusion from my estate under Illinois inheritance law. To Bradley Thompson, my nephew, I was just Rose Hartwell, the eccentric 73-year-old woman living alone in my Gold Coast penthouse at 1847 Lakeshore Drive, who had recently received an Alzheimer's diagnosis from Northwestern Memorial Hospital during what appeared to be routine memory testing following several family gatherings where I seemed confused about recent events and appeared to struggle with remembering names and dates that had always come easily to me throughout my adult life. Bradley observed what he interpreted as classic signs of early-stage dementia, moments when I paused during conversations as if searching for words, occasions when I asked the same question twice during family dinners, instances when I seemed uncertain about whether I had already told a particular story, and episodes when I appeared genuinely confused about current events or recent family developments that everyone else seemed to remember, see clearly, and discuss with confidence. From Bradley's perspective, I represented the perfect target for his struggling YouTube channel Bradley's Family Chaos, which had been hemorrhaging subscribers over the past 18 months as his content became increasingly desperate and his attempts at viral fame grew more outrageous and boundary-crossing. His follower count had peaked at 450,000 subscribers 2 years earlier with a series of prank videos targeting family members during holiday gatherings, but recent content had struggled to break 50,000 views per video, and his monthly ad revenue had dropped from $12,000 to less than $2,000 as sponsors abandoned his channel due to declining engagement metrics and increasingly controversial content that violated platform community guidelines and advertiser-friendly policies. Bradley's financial situation had become desperate following the collapse of his social media career. Credit card debt exceeded $85,000 across multiple high-interest accounts. His luxury apartment lease in Lincoln Park carried monthly payments of $4,000 to $100 that consumed nearly his entire remaining income. Car payments on his BMW M3 added another $1,100 monthly to his financial obligations. Designer clothing purchases, expensive restaurant meals, and lavish entertainment expenses that had been funded by his previous influencer income now represented crushing debt that accumulated daily in interest and penalty charges that he couldn't afford to service. His attempts to revive his content through increasingly extreme pranks had backfired spectacularly. A video where he hired actors to stage a fake emergency at a restaurant resulted in police involvement and a permanent ban from the establishment. Content featuring unauthorized recordings of strangers in public spaces led to legal threats and platform strikes against his channel. Attempts to create drama with fake relationship controversies and manufactured family conflicts had alienated both his audience and his relatives, creating a downward spiral of declining viewership and increasing desperation for content that would restore his previous success and financial stability. Bradley saw my recent Alzheimer's diagnosis as divine intervention for his content creation crisis. Elder care and family health struggles represented a trending topic category on social media platforms, with successful creators earning millions of views through authentic documentation of their experiences caring for aging relatives. Content featuring elderly family members with cognitive decline could be packaged as both entertaining and educational, appealing to younger audiences, while claiming to raise awareness about dementia and family caregiving responsibilities. His research into successful elder content creators revealed specific strategies for maximizing engagement while maintaining plausible deniability about exploitation. Funny moments of confusion could be presented as wholesome family comedy. Memory lapses could be framed as relatable senior moments. Cognitive testing and medical appointments could be documented as family journey content. The key was positioning himself as the devoted nephew dealing with challenging family circumstances while subtly highlighting the most entertaining aspects of cognitive decline for audience amusement. Bradley's content strategy for monetizing my condition involved systematic documentation of my apparent confusion and memory problems. He planned to create a series called Adventures with Aunt Rose that would follow my daily activities while highlighting moments of cognitive difficulty. For comedic effect, medical appointments could be transformed into day-in-the-life vlogs. Family interactions could be edited to emphasize my most confused responses. Shopping trips and social activities could be presented as amusing adventures where my memory problems created unexpected situations and entertainment value. His social media approach included cross-platform promotion across YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter to maximize reach and revenue potential. Short-form content featuring my most confused moments would drive traffic to longer YouTube videos that provided more detailed exploitation of my condition. Instagram posts could feature carefully selected photos that highlighted my apparent decline while maintaining the appearance of family support and affection. Twitter threads could provide real-time updates about my journey while encouraging audience engagement and sympathy. Bradley's monetization plan extended beyond advertising revenue to include sponsorship deals with elder care companies, medical alert services, memory care facilities, and pharmaceutical companies developing dementia treatments. His audience demographic included middle-aged adults dealing with aging parents, making it valuable for companies targeting family caregivers and adult children managing elderly relatives. Product placements could be seamlessly integrated into content about my daily care needs and medical management requirements. The timing of my diagnosis coincided perfectly with Bradley's most desperate financial period. Eviction notices had been delivered for both his apartment and vehicle. Credit card companies had begun legal proceedings for debt collection. His remaining family members had refused additional loans after previous borrowing had gone unrepaid. Social media income had virtually disappeared as his content failed to generate significant engagement and/or advertiser interest. My condition represented his last opportunity to create viral content that could restore his financial stability and social media career. Bradley's assessment of my vulnerability was based on several factors that made me seem like an ideal target for exploitation. My living situation appeared isolated, with limited family interaction beyond monthly gatherings and holiday celebrations. My apparent confusion about technology and social media meant I was unlikely to monitor his content or understand the scope of online exploitation. My cognitive decline suggested I might be grateful for any family attention, even if it involved public documentation of my condition. My substantial wealth made my good opinion valuable for potential inheritance considerations. His observation of my behavior during recent family gatherings reinforced his confidence in the exploitatio. In strategy, I had struggled to remember his current girlfriend's name despite multiple introductions over several months. Conversations about recent news events revealed gaps in my memory about major developments that had dominated headlines for weeks. Stories I told during dinner featured details that conflicted with previous versions I had shared at earlier gatherings. Questions about my daily routine elicited responses that seemed uncertain and hesitant compared to my previously confident demeanor. Bradley documented these observations through secretly recorded conversations during family visits. Audio recordings captured moments when I repeated stories or asked the same questions multiple times. During single conversations, video footage showed instances when I appeared confused about familiar locations or struggled to remember recent events that other family members referenced confidently. Photo evidence demonstrated changes in my appearance and behavior that could be used to illustrate the progression of my condition for his audience. His research into my medical situation involved unauthorized access to family discussions about my healthcare decisions and treatment options. Conversations between my sister Catherine and other relatives about my diagnosis provided details about medical appointments, testing procedures, and treatment recommendations that Bradley planned to incorporate into his content strategy. Information about my financial arrangements and estate planning became ammunition for positioning himself as a caring family member concerned about my welfare and future security. Bradley's content creation timeline involved escalating documentation of my condition over a 6-month period. Initial videos would introduce me to his audience as his beloved Aunt Rose while subtly highlighting entertaining aspects of my cognitive decline. Subsequent content would document my daily struggles with increasing detail and comedic commentary. Medical appointments and family interactions would provide ongoing material for his series about caring for an elderly relative with dementia. His audience engagement strategy included encouraging followers to share their own experiences with elderly family members while providing commentary and advice about managing cognitive decline. Interactive content would invite viewers to guess whether I would remember specific information or successfully complete various tasks. Live streams could provide real-time documentation of my confusion during family gatherings or medical appointments. Bradley's backup content plans included alternative approaches if initial exploitation proved insufficient for viral success. More intimate medical moments could be documented with hidden cameras if my condition progressed. Family conflict over my care decisions could be manufactured and recorded for drama content. Legal proceedings related to my estate planning could be presented as family documentary material if my condition warranted guardianship considerations. The social media influencer community that Bradley aspired to rejoin had normalized increasingly extreme content strategies for achieving viral success and financial stability. Fellow creators had built massive audiences through exploitation of family trauma, medical conditions, legal problems, and personal crises. Platforms rewarded controversial content with higher engagement metrics and algorithm promotion. Audience expectations had evolved to demand increasingly intimate access to creators' personal lives and family situations. Bradley's analysis of successful elder exploitation content revealed specific techniques for maximizing monetization while avoiding platform violations. Medical information could be shared under the guise of awareness and education. Cognitive testing could be framed as inspirational content about facing health challenges. Family caregiving could be presented as heroic sacrifice deserving of audience support and sympathy. The key was maintaining plausible claims about noble intentions while systematically exploiting the most entertaining aspects of cognitive decline. His professional aspiration extended beyond social media success to include book deals, speaking engagements, television appearances, and documentary opportunities that could emerge from successful documentation of my condition. Family caregiving. Narratives had proven commercially viable across multiple media platforms. Publishers actively sought authentic stories about managing elderly relatives with cognitive decline. Television producers developed programming around compelling family health journeys that resonated with aging audiences. Bradley's confidence in his exploitation strategy was reinforced by my apparent inability to detect or prevent his documentation efforts. Technology limitations meant I was unlikely to discover his online content or understand its reach and impact. Cognitive decline suggested I might be flattered by his attention rather than concerned about privacy violations. Financial dependency considerations made family members reluctant to challenge his behavior if it maintained his connection to my substantial estate. What Bradley never discovered, despite his systematic observation of my apparent cognitive decline, his careful documentation of my memory problems through unauthorized recordings, and his detailed research into my medical situation through family information networks, was that Rose Elizabeth Hartwell had spent 43 years building one of Chicago's most sophisticated estate planning practices, personally crafting over 2,000 wills and trusts for high-net-worth individuals including Fortune 500 executives, federal judges, entertainment industry leaders, and political figures whose estates required the most advanced protection strategies available under state and federal law. My law firm, Hartwell, Morrison & Associates, occupied the entire 42nd floor of the Willis Tower, employing 63 attorneys specializing in estate planning, tax law, inheritance protection, and family litigation. Our client base included families with assets exceeding $500 million who relied on our expertise to defend their wealth against exploitation, fraud, and family manipulation. My personal practice focused on ultra-high net worth individuals whose complex financial situations required the most sophisticated legal strategies available for estate protection and inheritance control. The scope of my legal expertise extended far beyond basic will preparation to include advanced trust structures, tax avoidance strategies, asset protection mechanisms, and family litigation prevention. International estate planning for clients with global assets required coordination with foreign legal systems and tax authorities. Charitable giving strategies involved complex philanthropic structures that provided tax benefits while controlling family wealth distribution. Business succession planning required intricate legal arrangements that protected family enterprises across generations. My professional relationships included federal tax attorneys who handled the most complex estate cases in American courts. Forensic accountants specializing in family wealth disputes provided analysis and testimony for inheritance litigation. International estate planning specialists coordinated global asset protection strategies. Family law experts handled divorce proceedings that threatened estate integrity. Privacy attorneys protected clients from media exploitation and public scrutiny. The specific legal methodologies I had developed for protecting elderly clients from family exploitation had been adopted by estate planning professionals throughout the Midwest. Recognition techniques for identifying exploitative relatives had been incorporated into continuing education programs for attorneys and financial advisors. Documentation strategies for proving mental capacity during estate planning had become industry standards for avoiding successful challenges to testamentary documents. My academic credentials included a Juris Doctor from Harvard Law School, where I graduated summa cum laude and served as articles editor for the Harvard Law Review. Advanced certification in estate planning law from Northwestern University Pritzker School of Law provided specialized expertise in Illinois inheritance statutes. Continuing education programs at the University of Chicago Law School kept my knowledge current with evolving tax regulati, and estate planning strategies. Professional recognition for my estate planning expertise included selection as Illinois Estate Planning Attorney of the Year by the American Bar Association in 2019. Inclusion in Best Lawyers in America for Estate Planning had continued for 18 consecutive years. Super Lawyers recognition in estate planning and probate law reflected peer acknowledgement of my professional achievements. Speaking engagements at national estate planning conferences established my reputation as a leading expert in inheritance, law, and family wealth protection. The cases I had handled included some of the most complex estate disputes in Illinois legal history. The Morrison family trust litigation involved $200 million in disputed assets and required 18 months of courtroom proceedings. The Blackstone inheritance challenge included international asset recovery and required coordination with Swiss banking authorities. The Wellington estate fraud case resulted in federal criminal charges against family members who attempted to exploit an elderly patriarch's cognitive decline for financial gain. My expertise in detecting and preventing family exploitation of elderly relatives had been developed through hundreds of cases involving relatives who attempted to manipulate inheritance documents, access financial accounts, or exploit medical conditions for personal gain. Psychological manipulation techniques used by exploitative family members had become predictable patterns that my legal team could identify and counter through comprehensive the estate protection strategies. The documentation methods I had perfected for proving mental capacity during estate planning included video recordings of attorney-client conferences, detailed medical evaluations by qualified psychiatrists, comprehensive cognitive testing by licensed psychologists, and systematic analysis of decision-making processes that demonstrated rational thinking and voluntary choices. These techniques had successfully defended dozens of wills and trusts against challenges from disinherited family members who claimed cognitive impairment invalidated testamentary documents. Bradley's attempt to exploit my apparent cognitive decline for social media profit represented a textbook example of the family manipulation patterns I had spent decades identifying and defeating through legal action. His systematic documentation of my condition, unauthorized recording of private conversations, and public exploitation of medical information violated multiple state and federal laws that I had fully used to prosecute similar family exploitation cases. The irony of Bradley's target selection was mathematically precise in its perfection. A struggling social media influencer attempting to monetize elder exploitation was targeting the person who had developed the most sophisticated legal strategies for protecting elderly individuals from exactly this type of family manipulation. His confidence in exploiting my apparent vulnerability was based on ignorance of my professional specialization in preventing and punishing the precise behavior he was planning to exhibit for online profit. My estate planning documents had been crafted with specific provisions for addressing family members who violated privacy, dignity, or mental health considerations. Inheritance forfeiture clauses had been designed to automatically exclude relatives who exploited medical conditions or cognitive difficulties for personal gain. Legal mechanisms for pursuing civil damages against family exploitation had been incorporated into trust structures that provided both protection and consequences for inappropriate behavior. The professional network that Bradley would unknowingly trigger through his exploitation attempt included federal privacy law experts who had worked with my firm on medical information protection cases, estate litigation specialists who had defended my clients against similar family manipulation would immediately recognize his behavior patterns, probate court judges who had ruled in favor of my inheritance protection strategies would be positioned to enforce maximum legal consequences for his violations. Bradley's social media documentation of my private medical information would provide perfect evidence for multiple legal actions that my professional relationships had prepared me to pursue. With devastating effectiveness, privacy violation lawsuits had been prepared in advance for family members who might attempt to exploit my condition. Defamation claims had been structured to pursue maximum damages for injury to reputation and dignity. Intentional infliction of emotional distress actions had been designed to seek punitive damages that would ensure complete financial consequences for family exploitation. The moment when I realized that Bradley had unknowingly positioned himself for the most complete legal destruction possible under Illinois estate and privacy law was when I discovered his social media posts exploiting my medical diagnosis, and recognized that his elder exploitation methodology matched every single pattern that I had identified as grounds for immediate and permanent disinheritance, maximum civil liability, and comprehensive legal consequences that would follow him for the remainder of his life, and that his plan to present my declining mental state to his online audience would place him directly under the legal scrutiny of the state attorneys, privacy law experts, and inheritance protection specialists who had worked most closely with me on complex family litigation cases, and would immediately recognize both the exploitation methodology and the supposedly diminished elderly woman whose legal expertise had helped them disinherit hundreds of similar family members who violated elder dignity and medical privacy for personal gain. Over the past 43 years of professional collaboration in estate protection, inheritance law, and family litigation designed to punish relatives who exploited elderly vulnerability for financial and social advantage, to Bradley Thompson, my nephew, I was just Rose Hartwell, a confused 73-year-old woman living alone in an expensive penthouse, someone who seemed perfect for his content creation desperation and financial salvation through viral exploitation. Bradley saw me as the ideal victim for his adventures with Aunt Rose content series. I lived alone in my Gold Coast penthouse at 1847 Lakeshore Drive with minimal family oversight and apparent vulnerability to manipulation. I appeared grateful for any family attention after months of increasing social isolation following my Alzheimer's diagnosis. I seemed confused about modern technology and social media platforms, making me unlikely to discover or understand his online exploitation. My substantial wealth made maintaining family relationships potentially valuable for inheritance considerations. What he observed during family gatherings was exactly what I wanted him to see. Bradley's systematic assessment of my vulnerability began 18 months before my Alzheimer's diagnosis. When my sister Catherine first mentioned her concerns about my memory during Sunday family dinners at her Evanston home, Catherine had noticed that I occasionally repeated stories during conversations, asked the same questions multiple times during single visits, and seemed uncertain about recent events that had been prominently featured in news coverage. These observations created family discussions about my cognitive health that Bradley documented through careful attention to every detail that might support future content creation opportunities. His initial evaluation focused on my apparent technology limitations and social media ignorance. During family gatherings, I consistently demonstrated confusion about basic smartphone functions, struggled with video calling applications, and expressed frustration with social media platforms that younger family members used effortlessly. Bradley interpreted these difficulties as generational gaps that would prevent me from monitoring his online activities or understanding the scope of digital exploitation. My requests for help with simple technology tasks reinforced his confidence that I lacked the knowledge necessary to detect systematic documentation of my private life. Bradley's assessment expanded to include my social isolation patterns following retirement from my law practice. 5 years earlier, family members reported that I had gradually reduced professional activities, declined invitations to legal conferences, and seemed less engaged with former colleagues who had been central to my social life for decades. This apparent withdrawal from professional networks suggested limited external oversight of my daily activities and reduced likelihood that exploitation would be detected by individuals outside the immediate family circle. His observation of my daily routines revealed predictable patterns that facilitated content creation planning. Weekly grocery shopping trips to Whole Foods on Tuesday mornings provided opportunities for documenting my apparent confusion in public settings. Monthly medical appointments at Northwestern Memorial Hospital offered content possibilities around healthcare navigation and cognitive testing procedures. Regular visits to the Art Institute of Chicago on Thursday afternoons could be presented as heartwarming family activities while highlighting moments of memory difficulty or confusion about exhibits I had previously enjoyed with confidence and expertise. Bradley's financial analysis of my lifestyle indicated substantial wealth that made maintaining positive family relationships potentially valuable for future inheritance considerations. My penthouse apartment in one of Chicago's most exclusive buildings carried monthly maintenance fees exceeding $8,000, suggesting significant liquid assets. Designer clothing, expensive jewelry, and luxury furnishings indicated accumulated wealth that could benefit family members who positioned themselves as devoted caregivers during my apparent cognitive decline. Art collection pieces visible throughout my apartment included works by recognized artists whose market values exceeded six figures each. His research into my family relationships revealed limited close connections that could interfere with His content creation plans. My marriage to Robert Hartwell had ended with his death from cancer 12 years earlier, eliminating spousal oversight of my activities and decisions. No children meant reduced family complexity and fewer individuals who might object to his documentation efforts. My sister Catherine lived in Evanston with her husband and maintained busy professional schedules that limited her involvement in my daily life to weekly phone calls and monthly family gatherings. Bradley's evaluation of my apparent cognitive decline included systematic documentation of specific memory problems that could provide entertaining content for his audience. During family dinners, I frequently forgot names of recent acquaintances, struggled to remember details about current events, and occasionally told the same stories multiple times during single conversations. These difficulties appeared genuine and progressive, suggesting that my condition would provide increasingly dramatic content opportunities as cognitive decline advanced over time. His assessment of my emotional vulnerability revealed apparent gratitude for family attention that could be exploited through increased involvement in my daily activities. Following my Alzheimer's diagnosis, I seemed eager to maintain connections with family members and expressed appreciation for any interest in my welfare or daily experiences. This emotional neediness could be leveraged to gain access to private moments and medical situations that would provide compelling content while positioning him as a caring nephew who sacrificed time and energy to support an elderly relative during difficult circumstances. Bradley's analysis of my legal sophistication suggested limited understanding of privacy rights and digital exploitation that would prevent effective resistance to his content creation activities. During conversations about technology and social media, I consistently demonstrated confusion about privacy settings, data collection practices, and content monetization strategies that younger generations understood intuitively. My questions about how online platforms operated revealed gaps in knowledge that could be exploited to gain unauthorized access to private information and personal moments, without triggering suspicion or legal challenges. His observation of my relationship with healthcare providers indicated potential opportunities for documenting medical appointments and treatment procedures that could provide educational content, while entertaining audiences with intimate details about cognitive decline management. Medical staff at Northwestern Memorial Hospital appeared to treat me with patience and extra attention that suggested they viewed me as a vulnerable elderly patient, requiring special consideration. This dynamic could be leveraged to position himself as an essential family advocate while documenting private medical information for public consumption. Bradley's confidence in his content creation strategy was reinforced by successful exploitation of family situations that had previously generated viral content for his YouTube channel. Holiday gatherings where he had secretly recorded embarrassing moments involving other family members had produced videos with hundreds of thousands of views and significant advertising revenue. Prank content targeting his girlfriend's family during social events had earned sponsorship deals with entertainment companies seeking authentic relationship drama. His experience demonstrated that audiences responded positively to intimate family content that provided voyeuristic access to private moments and personal struggles. His research into successful eldercare content creators revealed specific strategies for maximizing engagement while maintaining plausible deniability about exploitation intentions. Popular YouTube channels featuring elderly family members with cognitive decline consistently generated millions of views through careful editing that emphasized entertaining confusion while claiming educational and awareness purposes. Sponsorship opportunities with medical alert companies, pharmaceutical manufacturers, and memory care facilities provided substantial revenue streams for creators who built audiences around elder care. Narratives. Bradley's assessment of platform policies and community guidelines indicated that elder care content could avoid violations through careful framing and presentation strategies. Medical information could be shared under wellness and education categories that received platform promotion and advertiser support. Family caregiving narratives were actively encouraged by algorithms that prioritized authentic, personal stories over manufactured entertainment content. Age gap relationship dynamics between young creators and elderly family members generated engagement through intergenerational appeal that attracted diverse audience demographics. His evaluation of legal risks associated with documenting my medical condition concluded that privacy protections were limited for family members who shared information about relatives with apparent cognitive decline. Internet research suggested that Alzheimer's patients had reduced privacy expectations and that family members possessed broad authority to make healthcare decisions and share medical information for legitimate purposes including education and awareness. His positioning as a devoted nephew concerned about my welfare would provide legal protection for content creation activities that could be framed as family support and advocacy. Bradley's timeline for content creation involved gradual escalation of documentation activities over a 6-month period that would establish audience investment in my story, while building revenue streams through increased posting frequency and audience engagement. Initial introduction videos would present me as his beloved Aunt Rose while subtly highlighting entertaining aspects of my cognitive difficulties. Weekly update content would document my daily struggles and medical appointments, with increasing detail and comedic commentary. Special event coverage of family gatherings and holiday celebrations would provide milestone content that demonstrated progression of my condition over time. His monetization strategy extended beyond YouTube advertising revenue to include sponsorship deals with companies targeting families dealing with elderly care responsibilities, medical alert services, pharmaceutical companies developing dementia treatments, memory care facilities, and elder law attorneys represented potential sponsors whose products and services aligned with his content themes. Product placement opportunities could be seamlessly integrated into documentation of my daily care needs and medical management requirements. Bradley's audience development plan included cross-platform promotion across YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter to maximize reach and engagement opportunities. Short-form content featuring my most confused moments would drive traffic to longer YouTube videos that provided detailed exploitation of my condition for entertainment purposes. Instagram posts could feature carefully selected photos that highlighted my apparent decline while maintaining appearances of family affection and support. Twitter threads would provide real-time updates about my journey while encouraging audience interaction and sympathy. His content format strategy involved multiple video types that could appeal to different audience segments while maximizing monetization opportunities. Day in the Life with Aunt Rose vlogs would document my daily activities with emphasis on cognitive difficulties and entertaining confusion. Medical journey updates would cover appointments and treatment procedures, with educational framing that justified privacy violations. Family Moments content would feature interactions during gatherings and celebrations that highlighted my memory problems for comedic effect. Bradley's backup content strategies included alternative approaches if initial exploitation proved insufficient for viral success and financial recovery. More intimate medical moments could be documented with hidden cameras if my condition progressed to stages that provided more dramatic content opportunities. Family conflict over my care decisions could be manufactured and recorded for drama content that would generate engagement through controversy and emotional manipulation. Legal proceedings related to my estate planning could be presented as family documentary material if my condition warranted guardianship considerations that created compelling storylines. His assessment of potential opposition from other family members indicated minimal resistance to his content creation activities due to limited involvement in my daily life and apparent appreciation for any family member who showed interest in my welfare. Catherine's busy professional schedule and geographic distance reduced her oversight of my activities to weekly phone calls and monthly visits that could be scheduled around his filming activities. Other relatives had even less frequent contact and would be unlikely to discover his online content or understand its implications for my privacy and dignity. Bradley's evaluation of my financial situation included research into estate planning and inheritance considerations that could be affected by his positioning as a devoted family caregiver. During my cognitive decline, property records indicated that my penthouse apartment was valued at approximately $3.2 million with no outstanding mortgage obligations. Investment account statements visible during family gatherings suggested substantial portfolio holdings that could provide significant inheritance opportunities for family members who maintained positive relationships during my final years. His analysis of my legal vulnerabilities focused on cognitive decline implications for estate planning and decision-making capacity that could create opportunities for increased family involvement in financial matters. Internet research suggested that Alzheimer's patients often required family assistance with legal decisions and that devoted relatives who provided care and support were typically rewarded through inheritance considerations. His content creation activities could be framed as documentation of his sacrificial caregiving that deserved recognition through testamentary provisions. Bradley's confidence in his exploitation strategy was reinforced by my apparent inability to detect or prevent his documentation efforts during family gatherings, where he had already begun secretly recording conversations and interactions for future content development. Audio recordings captured moments when I repeated stories or asked the same questions multiple times during single conversations without apparent awareness of the repetition. Video footage showed instances when I appeared confused about familiar locations or struggled to remember recent events that other family members referenced confidently. His documentation methods included smartphone apps that could record audio and video discreetly during family interactions without triggering suspicion or awareness from participants. Cloud storage systems provided secure backup for recorded content that could be accessed from multiple devices and locations. Editing software allowed for enhancement of audio quality and video clarity while enabling selective presentation of the most entertaining or exploitative moments for audience consumption. Bradley's social media research revealed that elder exploitation content performed exceptionally well with advertisers seeking to reach middle-aged audiences dealing with aging parents and family caregiving responsibilities. Demographic analysis indicated that his target audience included adults aged 35 to 55 with household incomes exceeding $75,000 who were actively engaged with content about family relationships and healthcare challenges. This audience segment represented valuable marketing targets for companies selling products and services related to elder care and family support. His competitive analysis of similar content creators revealed specific techniques for maximizing engagement while avoiding platform violations and legal challenges. Successful channels featuring elderly family members consistently emphasized positive family relationships and educational value while carefully editing content to highlight entertaining confusion and cognitive difficulties. Comment sections revealed audience preferences for authentic emotional moments and genuine family interactions that provided voyeuristic access to private experiences. Bradley's strategic positioning involved presenting himself as a reluctant caregiver who sacrificed personal time and resources to support an elderly relative during challenging circumstances. This narrative would generate audience sympathy while justifying increasingly intimate documentation of my private life and medical information. His genuine financial desperation would add authenticity to stories about the emotional and Economic burden of family caregiving that resonated with viewers facing similar situations. His content creation equipment included professional lighting systems that could enhance video quality during documentation of my daily activities. Multiple camera angles would provide comprehensive coverage of interactions and conversations that could be edited for maximum entertainment value. Audio enhancement equipment would ensure clear capture of my confused statements and memory difficulties that form the core entertainment value of his proposed content series. Bradley's risk management strategy included legal consultation with entertainment attorneys who specialized in reality television and documentary content to ensure compliance with relevant privacy laws and platform policies. Liability insurance policies would provide protection against potential legal challenges from family members or privacy advocates who might object to his documentation activities. Professional publicity services could manage media attention if his content achieved viral success that attracted mainstream news coverage. His long-term career goals extended beyond social media success to include book deals, speaking engagements, television appearances, and documentary opportunities that could emerge from successful documentation of my condition and our family caregiving journey. Publishers actively sought authentic stories about managing elderly relatives with cognitive decline, and television producers developed programming around compelling family health narratives that resonated with aging audiences, seeking relatable content about their own experiences. Bradley's timeline culminated with my Alzheimer's diagnosis announcement during a family dinner at Catherine's house 6 months after he had begun preliminary documentation and assessment activities. The diagnosis provided perfect justification for increased involvement in my daily life and medical care while offering compelling narrative framework for his content creation strategy. My apparent confusion about the diagnosis implications and treatment options reinforced his confidence that I would be unable to detect or prevent his systematic exploitation of my condition for online entertainment and financial benefit. The moment when Bradley committed fully to his content creation strategy was when he began systematic documentation of my apparent cognitive decline. Following the formal Alzheimer's diagnosis from Northwestern Memorial Hospital, he believed he had identified the perfect combination of vulnerability, entertainment value, and audience appeal that would restore his social media success and resolve his financial crisis through monetization of my medical privacy and personal dignity for the entertainment of hundreds of thousands of online viewers who would never question the ethics of his systematic exploitation of an elderly relative's cognitive decline for personal profit and career advancement. He had no idea about my true professional background and the comprehensive legal arsenal that his exploitation attempt would trigger against him. Bradley Thompson's systematic exploitation of my apparent Alzheimer's condition began with careful observation and escalated to comprehensive content creation that would ultimately provide perfect evidence for his complete legal destruction. His confidence in my vulnerability reached its peak as he launched adventures with Aunt Rose, never suspecting that every documented moment was being carefully catalogued by someone whose expertise in family exploitation litigation would guarantee. His comprehensive downfall. The first crack in Bradley's perfect exploitation plan emerged during what he thought was a routine documentation session at my penthouse apartment on a Tuesday morning in early October. He had arrived unannounced with his professional camera equipment, claiming concern about my welfare after Catherine had mentioned that I seemed confused during their weekly phone call. His plan involved documenting my daily routine while highlighting moments of cognitive confusion that would provide entertaining content for his struggling YouTube channel. Bradley set up multiple cameras throughout my living room under the pretense of family video calls that would help me stay connected with relatives who lived too far away for regular visits. His lighting equipment was positioned to capture optimal angles while I performed daily activities that he planned to edit for maximum comedic effect. Audio recording devices were hidden throughout my apartment to ensure comprehensive capture of any confused statements or memory lapses that would support his narrative about my declining cognitive abilities. What Bradley didn't realize was that I had been conducting systematic counter-surveillance of his activities since his first suspicious visit 3 weeks earlier. Professional security cameras installed throughout my penthouse provided high-definition recording of his equipment, placement, and documentation strategies. Audio monitoring systems captured his private phone conversations about monetization plans and audience engagement strategies. Digital tracking software monitored his online research about elder exploitation content and platform policies regarding privacy violations. My legal training had taught me to recognize exploitation patterns decades before Bradley was born. His systematic assessment of my vulnerability, gradual increase in visit frequency, and suspicious interest in my medical appointments triggered immediate recognition of classical elder abuse methodologies that I had successfully prosecuted hundreds of times during my career at Hartwell, Morrison and Associates. His behavior matched textbook patterns that I had documented in academic publications and legal training materials used throughout the Illinois court system. Bradley's confidence during this particular filming session was absolute. He believed that my apparent confusion about his equipment setup and grateful acceptance of his technological help proved my cognitive decline and vulnerability to systematic exploitation. His commentary for the camera emphasized his devotion as a caring nephew while subtly highlighting my supposed inability to understand modern technology or detect his documentation activities. He narrated my daily routine with patronizing affection that masked systematic mockery of my apparent limitations. During the filming session, Bradley documented what he interpreted as perfect evidence of my cognitive decline. I appeared confused about where I had placed my reading glasses, searched multiple rooms before locating them in obvious places, and seemed grateful for his assistance with simple tasks that I should have been able to complete independently. I struggled with smartphone functions that he patiently explained while recording my apparent frustration and technological confusion. I asked repeated questions about current events that suggested memory problems and difficulty processing recent information. What Bradley failed to recognize was that every moment of apparent confusion was carefully calculated performance designed to reinforce his false assessment, while documenting his exploitation attempts for future legal proceedings. My confusion about technology was strategic theater that concealed comprehensive digital surveillance of his activities. My gratitude for his assistance was manipulation designed to encourage increasingly bold exploitation that would provide irrefutable evidence of his systematic violation of my privacy and dignity for commercial purposes. The smartphone difficulties that Bradley documented with such satisfaction were particularly ironic, considering that my penthouse apartment contained one of the most sophisticated digital security systems available to private individuals. Multiple encrypted communication networks allowed secure coordination with federal law enforcement agencies, estate litigation specialists, and privacy law experts who were already monitoring Bradley's online activities and social media content. Professional-grade audio enhancement equipment captured every private conversation he conducted while visiting my apartment, including phone calls with his girlfriend about monetization strategies and text messages with other influencers about elder exploitation techniques. Bradley's documentation of my apparent memory problems during this session included moments when I repeatedly asked about his camera equipment, seemed confused about why he was recording our interactions, and appeared uncertain about recent family events that he referenced during our conversation. He captured video footage of my struggling to remember names of recent acquaintances, dates of medical appointments, and details about current events that dominated recent news coverage. His editing plans involved highlighting these moments as evidence of progressive cognitive decline that would generate audience sympathy while providing entertainment through my apparent confusion. My performance during these interactions was based on 43 years of observing genuine cognitive decline in elderly clients who had been targeted by exploitative family members, seeking to challenge their testamentary capacity or gain unauthorized access to their financial resources. Professional experience with hundreds of elder abuse cases had taught me exactly which behaviors would convince potential exploiters that their targets were vulnerable, while simultaneously creating documented evidence of systematic manipulation and privacy violations that would support maximum legal consequences under state and federal law. Bradley's editing process for this content revealed the systematic nature of his exploitation strategy and his complete ignorance of the legal consequences he was creating for himself. Audio recordings captured his private commentary about which moments would generate the most audience engagement through mockery of my apparent confusion. His phone conversations with fellow content creators included detailed discussions about monetization strategies, sponsorship opportunities, and platform policies that would allow him to profit from my medical privacy violations without triggering community guideline violations or legal challenges. The content creation workflow that Bradley established included multiple phases of exploitation that would escalate over time as his audience became invested in my story and his financial needs became more desperate. Initial videos would introduce me to his followers as his beloved elderly and while subtly highlighting entertaining aspects of my cognitive decline. Subsequent content would document my daily struggles with increasing detail and comedic commentary that positioned him as a patient caregiver dealing with challenging family circumstances. Medical appointments and family interactions would provide ongoing material for his series about managing elderly relatives with dementia. His monetization timeline involved launching the content series with daily uploads for the first month to establish audience engagement and algorithm promotion. Weekly content would maintain viewership while he developed sponsorship relationships with companies targeting families dealing with elderly care responsibilities. Special event coverage of family gatherings and medical appointments would provide milestone content that demonstrated progression of my condition over time while generating increased advertising revenue through higher view counts and audience retention metrics. Bradley's audience engagement strategy included encouraging followers to share their own experiences with elderly family members while providing commentary and advice about managing cognitive decline. Interactive content would invite viewers to guess whether I would remember specific information or successfully complete various tasks. Live streams could provide real-time documentation of my confusion during family gatherings or medical appointments that would generate immediate audience reactions and increased platform engagement. The social media campaign that Bradley developed around my condition included hashtags like #AdventuresWithAuntRose, #ALZHEIMERSJourney, and #FamilyCaregiving that would help his content reach audiences searching for elder care information and entertainment. Cross-platform promotion across YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter would maximize reach while allowing him to experiment with different content formats that appeal to various demographic segments. Collaboration opportunities with other family vloggers and medical content creators could expand his audience while providing networking opportunities within the influencer community. Bradley's research into successful elder exploitation content had revealed specific techniques for maximizing engagement while maintaining plausible deniability about exploitation intentions. Emotional manipulation strategies included highlighting my apparent gratitude for his attention, while emphasizing the sacrifice he was making to provide family support during difficult circumstances. Educational framing allowed him to present privacy violations as awareness content that served legitimate public interests. Entertainment value could be extracted from my confusion while claiming that humor helped families cope with difficult caregiving situations. His analysis of platform policies and community guidelines indicated that elder care content could avoid violations through careful presentation and editing strategies. Medical information could be shared under wellness and education categories that received algorithm promotion and advertiser support. Family caregiving narratives were actively encouraged by platforms seeking authentic personal content over manufactured entertainment. Age gap dynamics between young creators and elderly family members generated engagement through intergenerational appeal that attracted diverse audience demographics valued by advertisers. The equipment investment that Bradley made for documenting my condition included professional-grade cameras capable of capturing high-definition video in low-light conditions that would allow him to record private moments without obvious lighting setup. Wireless microphone systems provided clear audio capture during conversations where I might reveal intimate details about my medical condition or express confusion about daily activities. Editing software allowed for enhancement of audio and video quality while enabling selective presentation of the most entertaining or exploitative moments for audience consumption. Bradley's content calendar included specific themes and milestones that would maintain audience interest while documenting the progression of my apparent cognitive decline over time. Weekly medical appointment coverage would provide educational content about Alzheimer's treatment while violating my medical privacy for entertainment purposes. Monthly family gathering documentation would show my condition's impact on family relationships while creating drama through manufactured conflicts about my care needs. Holiday celebrations would provide emotional content that generated audience engagement through sympathy and nostalgia. His backup content strategies included alternative approaches if initial exploitation proved insufficient for viral success and financial recovery. More intimate medical moments could be documented with hidden cameras if my condition progressed to stages that provided more dramatic content opportunities. Family conflict over my care decisions could be manufactured and recorded for drama content that would generate engagement through controversy and emotional manipulation. Legal proceedings related to my estate planning could be presented as documentary material if my condition warranted guardianship considerations that created compelling storylines. The risk assessment that Bradley conducted focused primarily on platform policies and advertiser guidelines rather than legal consequences or ethical considerations related to elder exploitation. His research indicated that family caregiving content rarely faced community guideline violations if properly framed as educational or awareness material. Advertiser-friendly policies supported content that addressed real family situations without excessive controversy or inappropriate material. Privacy concerns could be addressed through disclaimers claiming that documentation served legitimate family communication and medical advocacy purposes. Bradley's financial projections for the content series included optimistic revenue estimates based on successful elder care channels that had monetized similar content with audiences comparable to his target demographic. Initial advertising revenue could reach $3,000 monthly if his videos achieved consistent view counts exceeding 100,000 per upload. Sponsorship deals with medical alert companies, pharmaceutical manufacturers, and memory care facilities could provide additional income streams ranging from $5,000 to $15,000 per sponsored content integration. Product placement opportunities could generate supplementary revenue while promoting items relevant to elder care and family caregiving. His audience development strategy included targeted advertising on platforms where middle-aged adults searched for information about managing elderly parents and family caregiving responsibilities. Social media promotion would focus on parenting and family groups where his content could reach individuals dealing with similar situations who would appreciate authentic documentation of the challenges and emotional experiences involved in caring for relatives with cognitive decline. Collaboration with medical professionals and elder care advocates could provide credibility while expanding his audience reach within healthcare and family support communities. The content format experimentation that Bradley planned included various video styles designed to appeal to different audience segments while maximizing monetization opportunities. Day in the life vlogs would document my daily activities with emphasis on cognitive difficulties and entertaining confusion. Medical journey updates would cover appointments and treatment procedures with educational framing that justified privacy violations. Family moments content would feature interactions during gatherings that highlighted my memory problems for comedic effect while claiming to provide realistic portrayals of family caregiving experiences. Bradley's long-term vision for the content series included expansion beyond my individual story to cover broader themes related to aging, family relationships, and healthcare challenges that would allow him to build a sustainable brand around elder care and family support topics. Book deal opportunities could emerge from successful documentation of our caregiving journey that resonated with audiences seeking authentic stories about managing elderly relatives. Speaking engagements at healthcare conferences and family support events could provide additional income while establishing his credibility as an advocate for families dealing with cognitive decline challenges. His marketing strategy included search engine optimization techniques that would help his content appear in results when users searched for information about Alzheimer's care, family caregiving, and elder support resources. Keyword targeting would focus on terms related to cognitive decline, memory problems, and family health challenges that aligned with his content themes. Social media advertising would target demographics most likely to engage with elder care content while avoiding audiences that might be critical of his exploitation approach. The collaboration opportunities that Bradley pursued included partnerships with other family vloggers who had built successful channels around personal health challenges and family drama. Cross-promotion with medical content creators could provide access to audiences interested in healthcare information while lending credibility to his educational claims about Alzheimer's awareness. Influencer marketing networks specializing in family and lifestyle content could facilitate sponsorship deals with brands targeting his demographic. Bradley's crisis management planning included strategies for addressing potential criticism about his documentation of my condition and privacy concerns that might be raised by viewers or privacy advocates. Response templates emphasized his genuine care for my welfare and the educational value of sharing authentic family experiences with cognitive decline. Legal consultation with entertainment attorneys provided guidance about compliance with privacy laws and platform policies that governed family content creation and medical information sharing. His competitive analysis revealed that successful elder care content creators consistently emphasized positive family relationships and educational value, while carefully editing material to highlight entertaining confusion without appearing exploitative or disrespectful. Audience preferences indicated demand for authentic emotional moments and genuine family interactions that provided voyeuristic access to private experiences. Comment section engagement showed that viewers appreciated creators who demonstrated genuine affection for elderly family members while acknowledging the challenges and humor involved in caregiving relationships. The moment when Bradley's confidence in his exploitation strategy reached its peak was during a family gathering at Catherine's house where he successfully recorded what he considered perfect content showcasing my cognitive decline for his audience. Multiple camera angles captured my apparent confusion about recent events, difficulty remembering family members' names, and repeated questions about topics that had been discussed moments earlier. His editing plans involved highlighting these moments as evidence of my condition's progression while emphasizing his patient devotion as a caring nephew managing difficult family circumstances. What Bradley never suspected was that every moment of his systematic exploitation was being documented by professional surveillance equipment that would provide irrefutable evidence of his privacy violations, elder abuse, and systematic manipulation of my apparent vulnerability for commercial gain. His confidence in my cognitive decline and inability to detect his documentation activities was about to collide with the reality that he was targeting someone whose entire legal career had been dedicated to protecting elderly individuals from exactly the type of exploitation he was conducting with such systematic thoroughness and commercial calculation. His detailed planning and professional execution of elder exploitation content would soon provide prosecutors with comprehensive evidence of premeditated elder abuse, privacy violations, and intentional infliction of emotional distress that would result in consequences far beyond his worst financial fears or legal nightmares. The content creation strategy that he believed would save his career was actually documenting the systematic violation of state and federal laws designed to protect elderly individuals from family members who would exploit medical conditions and cognitive vulnerabilities for personal profit and social media success. Bradley's systematic approach to my exploitation was about to encounter the most sophisticated legal counterattack possible under Illinois estate and privacy law. Bradley Thompson's systematic exploitation campaign reached new heights of calculated cruelty as he launched his adventures with Aunt Rose content series across multiple social media platforms, never suspecting that his detailed documentation of elder abuse would provide federal prosecutors with irrefutable evidence for maximum penalties under Illinois privacy statutes and inheritance law. His financial desperation had transformed him into a predator whose sophisticated content creation methodology represented textbook elder exploitation that I had spent decades teaching attorneys to recognize and prosecute. The criminal methodology that Bradley employed to monetize my supposed cognitive decline began with comprehensive platform optimization across YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter designed to maximize audience reach and advertising revenue. From my medical privacy violations, his YouTube channel strategy involved daily uploads featuring intimate details about my medical condition, treatment procedures, and cognitive difficulties that he framed as educational content while extracting entertainment value from my apparent confusion and memory problems. Video titles like Aunt Rose Forgets Where She Lives and hilarious Alzheimer's moments demonstrated his systematic transformation of my dignity into clickbait. Designed to generate viral engagement and sponsorship opportunities, Bradley's TikTok approach focused on short-form content that highlighted my most confused moments for maximum viral potential among younger audiences who consumed elder mockery as casual entertainment. 15-second clips featuring my supposed inability to use modern technology, confusion about current events, and memory lapses during family conversations were edited with trending audio tracks and hashtags, designed to reach millions of viewers who would share my private struggles as comedic content. His strategic use of algorithms ensured that my medical privacy became entertainment for teenagers who had never considered the ethical implications of consuming elder exploitation content. The Instagram component of his campaign included carefully curated photo collections that documented my apparent decline while maintaining the appearance of family affection and support. Before and after image comparisons showed my supposed cognitive deterioration over time, with captions that emphasized Bradley's sacrificial caregiving while subtly highlighting entertaining aspects of my condition. Stories featuring real-time updates about my medical appointments and daily struggles provided intimate access to my private life that violated every principle of medical privacy and human dignity that I had spent my legal career protecting. His Twitter strategy involved live tweeting my supposed confusion during family gatherings and medical appointments with hashtags like #ALZHEIMERSLife and #FamilyCaregiving that would attract audiences seeking elder care information while delivering my private medical information as public entertainment. Real-time documentation of my cognitive testing procedures, medication management difficulties, and social interactions created a comprehensive public record of my most vulnerable moments that Bradley monetized through engagement metrics and influencer marketing partnerships. Bradley's content creation schedule involved systematic escalation of privacy violations designed to maintain audience engagement while maximizing revenue potential. From my declining cognitive abilities, weekly medical appointment documentation provided consistent content about treatment procedures and cognitive testing that violated federal medical privacy laws, while claiming educational justification for public consumption. Monthly family gathering COVRAG highlighted my supposed confusion during social interactions while creating drama through manufactured conflicts about my care needs and family relationship dynamics. The editing techniques that Bradley employed to maximize entertainment value from my apparent suffering demonstrated sophisticated understanding of audience psychology and engagement optimization that transformed elder abuse into viral content. Strategic video cuts emphasized my most confused moments while removing context that might generate sympathy or concern about exploitation. Audio enhancement amplified my supposed memory lapses and cognitive difficulties while minimizing moments that might reveal my actual mental acuity or awareness of his documentation activities. His monetization strategy extended far beyond advertising revenue to include comprehensive commercial exploitation of my medical condition through sponsorship deals, product placements, and affiliate marketing that transformed my Alzheimer's diagnosis into a business opportunity. Memory care facilities paid for promotional content that featured my supposed need for specialized services. Pharmaceutical companies sponsored videos about cognitive decline treatments that used my condition as a case study for their products. Medical alert services provided financial compensation for content that emphasized my vulnerability and need for emergency monitoring systems. Bradley's audience development methodology included targeted advertising campaigns that reached middle-aged adults dealing with elderly parents while positioning my exploitation as relatable family content that provided both entertainment and practical caregiving advice. Social media promotion focused on parenting groups and family support communities where his documentation of my condition could attract viewers seeking authentic experiences with cognitive decline management. Collaboration with other family vloggers and medical content creators expanded his reach while providing networking opportunities within the influencer community. The psychological manipulation techniques that Bradley employed to maintain my cooperation with his documentation efforts revealed sophisticated understanding of elder vulnerability and family relationship dynamics that he exploited to gain unlimited access to my private life. Emotional manipulation strategies included highlighting my apparent gratitude for his attention while emphasizing the burden he accepted by providing family support during my cognitive decline. Guilt induction techniques suggested that my resistance to documentation would deprive other families of valuable educational content about Alzheimer's care and management. His systematic isolation of me from other family members included subtle campaigns to position himself as my primary caregiver, while undermining relationships with relatives who might question his documentation activities or advocate for my privacy rights. Strategic information control ensured that Catherine and other family members received filtered reports about my condition that supported his narrative while concealing the extent of his commercial exploitation. Gradual escalation of his involvement in my medical care provided legitimate justification for accessing private health information that he transformed into public entertainment content. Bradley's documentation of my financial situation included unauthorized recording of conversations about estate planning and inheritance considerations that revealed the substantial wealth that motivated his systematic exploitation campaign. Secret audio recordings captured family discussions about my $8.7 million estate, property valuations, and investment portfolios that demonstrated the financial stakes involved in maintaining positive relationships during my apparent cognitive decline. His research into my legal affairs included attempts to access confidential information about my will provisions and trust arrangements that would determine his potential inheritance benefits. The technology infrastructure that Bradley developed for systematic elder exploitation included professional-grade surveillance equipment that violated my privacy, while creating comprehensive documentation of my most vulnerable moments for commercial consumption. Hidden cameras throughout my apartment provided 24-hour monitoring of my daily activities, personal hygiene routines, and private conversations that he edited into entertainment content for his growing audience. Wireless audio recording systems captured intimate medical discussions with healthcare providers that he transformed into educational content while violating federal medical privacy laws. His digital security protocols included encrypted cloud storage systems that preserved comprehensive records of my private life while protecting his commercial exploitation enterprise from detection by family members or legal authorities who might challenge his documentation activities. Multiple backup systems ensured that his content creation materials remained accessible even if primary storage systems were compromised by privacy advocates or law enforcement investigations. Professional editing software allowed for sophisticated manipulation of audio and video content that enhanced entertainment value while concealing evidence of his systematic exploitation methodology. Bradley's risk management strategy included legal consultation with entertainment attorneys who provided guidance about compliance with privacy laws and platform policies that govern family content creation and medical information sharing. Liability insurance policies offered protection against potential legal challenges from family members or privacy advocates who might object to his commercial exploitation of my medical condition. Professional publicity services prepared crisis management plans for addressing criticism about his documentation practices or questions about the ethics of monetizing elder cognitive decline. The content distribution network that Bradley established included partnerships with influencer marketing agencies that specialized in family and lifestyle content targeting audiences interested in healthcare challenges and caregiving experiences. Cross-promotion agreements with other medical content creators provided access to established audiences while lending credibility to his educational claims about Alzheimer's awareness and family support. Collaboration opportunities with healthcare professionals and elder care advocates expanded his reach within medical and family support communities. His advertising optimization strategies included sophisticated audience targeting that reached individuals most likely to engage with elder care content while avoiding demographics that might be critical of his exploitation approach. Search engine optimization techniques ensured that his content appeared prominently when users searched for information about Alzheimer's care, cognitive decline, and family caregiving resources. Social media advertising campaigns targeted specific keywords and interests related to elder care while maximizing return on investment through strategic budget allocation and audience segmentation. Bradley's merchandise development plans included branded products that capitalized on his growing audience engagement with my condition while generating additional revenue streams beyond advertising and sponsorship income. T-shirts featuring quotes from My Confused Moments could appeal to audiences who enjoyed elder mockery as casual humor. Coffee mugs with slogans about family caregiving could attract viewers seeking products that reflect their own experiences with elderly relatives. Book opportunities could emerge from successful documentation of our supposed caregiving journey that resonated with readers seeking authentic stories about managing cognitive decline. The international expansion strategy that Bradley developed included content localization for markets where elder care concerns and family caregiving challenges represented significant audience opportunities. Translation services could adapt his most successful content for Spanish-speaking audiences dealing with similar family situations. European markets offered monetization opportunities through different privacy regulations and cultural attitudes toward elder care documentation. Asian markets represented emerging opportunities for family content creators who could provide authentic cross-cultural perspectives on aging and cognitive decline. His long-term brand development included positioning himself as an authority on family caregiving and elder support topics that would allow sustainable career growth beyond my individual story. Speaking engagements at healthcare conferences and family support events could provide additional income while establishing credibility within medical and social service communities. Book deals could capitalize on his documentation of our supposed caregiving relationship while appealing to audiences seeking practical advice about managing elderly relatives with cognitive decline. Bradley's competitive analysis revealed that successful elder care content creators consistently emphasized educational value and family devotion while carefully balancing entertainment with respect. For elderly dignity, audience engagement metrics indicated that viewers appreciated authentic emotional moments and genuine family interactions while expecting regular content updates that demonstrated ongoing commitment to elderly care responsibilities. Monetization benchmarks showed that channels focused on medical challenges and family drama could generate substantial advertising revenue through consistent posting schedules and audience retention. Strategies. The crisis communication strategy that Bradley developed included response protocols for addressing potential criticism about his documentation practices or concerns about privacy violations and elder exploitation. Media training prepared him to emphasize his genuine care for my welfare and the educational benefits of sharing authentic family experiences with cognitive decline. Legal messaging focused on his compliance with platform policies and family content guidelines while positioning his documentation as legitimate caregiving advocacy rather than commercial exploitation. His audience retention strategies included interactive content that encouraged viewer participation while maintaining engagement with my ongoing condition and supposed decline. Polls asking followers to predict my cognitive test results generated engagement while reducing my dignity to entertainment gambling. Comment sections enabled audience members to share their own elder care experiences while consuming my private struggles as relatable content. Live streaming events provided real-time access to my confusion and memory difficulties while maximizing immediate engagement and revenue generation. Bradley's financial projections included optimistic revenue forecasts based on successful monetization of similar older exploitation content by other creators who had built substantial audiences around family medical challenges. Monthly advertising income could reach $15,000 if his content achieved consistent viewership exceeding 500,000 views per video across all platforms. Sponsorship deals with healthcare companies and elder care services could generate additional revenue ranging from $10,000 to $25,000 per sponsored content integration depending on audience engagement metrics and demographic targeting success. The content archive system that Bradley maintained included comprehensive documentation. His advertising optimization strategies included sophisticated audience targeting that reached individuals most likely to engage with elder care content while avoiding demographics that might be critical of his exploitation approach. Search engine optimization techniques ensured that his content appeared prominently when users searched for information about Alzheimer's care, cognitive decline, and family caregiving resources. Social media advertising campaigns targeted specific keywords and interests related to elder care while maximizing return on investment through strategic budget allocation and audience segmentation. Bradley's merchandise development plans included branded products that capitalized on his growing audience engagement with my condition while generating additional revenue streams. Beyond advertising and sponsorship income, T-shirts featuring quotes from my confused moments could appeal to audiences who enjoyed elder mockery as casual humor. Coffee mugs with slogans about family caregiving could attract viewers seeking products that reflect their own experiences with elderly relatives. Book opportunities could emerge from successful documentation of our supposed caregiving journey that resonated with readers seeking authentic stories about managing cognitive decline. The international expansion strategy that Bradley developed included content localization for markets where elder care concerns and family caregiving challenges represented significant audience opportunities. Translation services could adapt his most successful content for Spanish-speaking audiences dealing with similar family situations. European markets offered monetization opportunities through different privacy regulations and cultural attitudes toward elder care documentation. Asian markets represented emerging opportunities for family content creators who could provide authentic cross-cultural perspectives on aging and cognitive decline. His long-term brand development included positioning himself as an authority on family caregiving and elder support topics that would allow sustainable career growth beyond my individual story. Speaking engagements at healthcare conferences and family support events could provide additional income while establishing credibility within medical and social service communities. Book deals could capitalize on his documentation of our supposed caregiving relationship while appealing to audiences seeking practical advice about managing elderly relatives with cognitive decline. Bradley's competitive analysis revealed that successful elder care content creators consistently emphasized educational value and family devotion while carefully balancing entertainment with respect for elderly dignity. Audience engagement metrics indicated that viewers appreciated authentic emotional moments and genuine family interactions while expecting regular content updates that demonstrated ongoing commitment to elderly care responsibilities. Monetization benchmarks showed that channels focused on medical challenges and family drama could generate substantial advertising revenue through consistent posting schedules and audience retention. Strategies: the crisis communication strategy that Bradley developed included response protocols for addressing potential criticism about his documentation practices or concerns about privacy violations and elder exploitation. Media training prepared him to emphasize his genuine care for my welfare and the educational benefits of sharing authentic family experiences with cognitive decline. Legal messaging focused on his compliance with platform policies and family content guidelines while positioning his documentation as legitimate caregiving advocacy rather than commercial exploitation. His audience retention strategies included interactive content that encouraged viewer participation while maintaining engagement with my ongoing condition and supposed decline. Polls asking followers to predict my cognitive test results generated engagement while reducing my dignity to entertainment gambling. Comment sections enabled audience members to share their own elder care experiences while consuming my private struggles as relatable content. Live streaming events provided real-time access to my confusion and memory difficulties while maximizing immediate engagement and revenue generation. Bradley's financial projections included optimistic revenue forecasts based on successful monetization of similar older exploitation content by other creators who had built substantial audiences around family medical challenges. Monthly advertising income could reach $15,000 if his content achieved consistent viewership exceeding 500,000 views per video across all platforms. Sponsorship deal. My first major case in 1983 involved the Morrison family estate dispute, where a grandson had been secretly recording his wealthy grandmother's conversations to document her supposed cognitive decline. For inheritance purposes, the case taught me that family exploitation followed predictable patterns that could be identified, documented, and prosecuted through comprehensive legal action. That grandson lost his $2.3 million inheritance and faced criminal charges for elder abuse and privacy violations. Over the decades, I had seen every variation of family exploitation imaginable. Adult children who isolated elderly parents from social support systems, grandchildren who manufactured medical emergencies to gain power of attorney, nephews who documented supposed cognitive decline for probate court challenges, in-laws who exploited medical conditions to question testamentary capacity. Every single strategy that Bradley employed against me was familiar territory that I had successfully countered hundreds of times. The specific techniques that Bradley used to exploit my condition matched case study number 847 from my professional files: systematic documentation of elderly cognitive decline for social media monetization and inheritance positioning. His methodology was identical to criminal patterns I had identified in organized family exploitation networks. His content creation timeline followed established templates for transforming elder vulnerability into commercial entertainment. His audience engagement strategies replicated successful monetization of medical privacy violations. My expertise in detecting family exploitation was legendary within the legal community. Federal courts relied on my testimony to identify sophisticated elder abuse schemes. The Illinois Attorney General's office consulted my research when developing prosecution strategies for inheritance fraud cases. Law enforcement agencies used my training materials to recognize exploitation patterns that warranted criminal investigation. My professional reputation was built on an unbroken record of completely destroying family members who targeted elderly relatives for exploitation. Bradley's social media posts provided perfect evidence for multiple legal actions that my professional relationships had prepared me to pursue with devastating effectiveness. His content violated the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act through unauthorized sharing of medical information. His systematic documentation constituted elder abuse under Illinois criminal statutes. His commercial monetization of my condition supported civil claims for intentional infliction of emotional distress, invasion of privacy, and defamation. The legal arsenal that Bradley unknowingly challenged included direct relationships with federal prosecutors specializing in elder abuse cases, privacy law experts who handled medical information violations, and inheritance litigation specialists who had worked with my firm on complex family exploitation prosecutions. My personal contact list included FBI agents who investigated healthcare fraud, federal judges who presided over privacy violation cases, and Department of Justice attorneys who pursued criminal charges against family members who exploited elderly relatives. Within 24 hours of discovering Bradley's posts, I had initiated a comprehensive legal counterattack that would systematically destroy every aspect of his life. Federal prosecutors filed criminal charges for elder abuse, medical privacy violations, and conspiracy to commit inheritance fraud. Civil litigation sought maximum damages for intentional infliction of emotional distress and invasion of privacy. Probate court proceedings initiated immediate modifications to my estate planning documents that would permanently exclude Bradley from any inheritance consideration. The criminal charges filed against Bradley included violations of the Elder Justice Act, which carried mandatory minimum sentences for family members who systematically exploited elderly relatives for financial gain. His documentation of my supposed cognitive decline provided prosecutors with irrefutable evidence of premeditated elder abuse that warranted federal investigation. The systematic nature of his exploitation campaign demonstrated criminal enterprise activity that triggered enhanced penalties under organized crime statutes. Bradley's social media content became evidence exhibits in federal court proceedings that revealed the scope of his systematic elder exploitation enterprise. His private communications about monetization strategies provided proof of commercial motivation for privacy violations. His audience engagement metrics demonstrated the scale of his medical information sharing that violated federal health care privacy laws. His content creation timeline established systematic planning that supported criminal charges for conspiracy to commit elder abuse. The civil litigation that I initiated against Bradley included claims for damages that would exceed his lifetime earning potential while ensuring permanent financial consequences for his exploitation activities. Intentional infliction of emotional distress claims sought punitive damages for systematic mockery of cognitive decline. Invasion of privacy actions pursued maximum penalties for unauthorized documentation and commercial exploitation of medical information. Defamation lawsuits addressed his false portrayal of my cognitive abilities and family relationships. My estate planning modifications included comprehensive exclusion clauses that permanently removed Bradley from any inheritance consideration while establishing legal mechanisms for pursuing additional damages if he continued his exploitation activities. Trust provisions included specific language addressing social media exploitation and medical privacy violations that would trigger automatic disinheritance for any family member who violated my dignity or privacy rights. Legal documentation created ironclad protection against any future claims Bradley might pursue against my estate. The probate court proceedings that I initiated included comprehensive presentation of Bradley's exploitation evidence to establish Legal precedent for protecting elderly individuals from family members who would monetize medical conditions through social media platforms. Expert testimony from privacy law specialists demonstrated the federal legal violations inherent in his content creation activities. Medical professionals provided analysis of the psychological harm caused by systematic mockery of cognitive decline for commercial entertainment purposes. Bradley's professional destruction extended beyond legal consequences to include comprehensive elimination of his social media career and online presence. Platform violations resulted in permanent account suspensions across YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter that eliminated his audience and revenue streams. Advertiser boycotts terminated sponsorship relationships with companies that refused association with elder abuse content. Influencer marketing networks blacklisted his participation in future collaboration opportunities. The financial consequences that Bradley faced included immediate asset seizure through civil judgment enforcement that recovered damages for his systematic exploitation of my medical privacy. Bank account freezing prevented access to funds that had been generated through elder abuse content monetization. Property liens ensured that future earnings would be subject to ongoing damage payments for the remainder of his natural life. Credit destruction eliminated his ability to secure loans or financial services that might enable economic recovery. His social destruction included comprehensive exposure of his elder exploitation activities through media coverage that detailed the systematic nature of his abuse and the legal consequences for family members who would monetize elderly vulnerability. Professional reputation annihilation eliminated future employment opportunities within social media, entertainment, or any industry requiring public trust. Family relationship destruction resulted from his exploitation activities becoming public knowledge that demonstrated his willingness to abuse elderly relatives for personal profit. The federal investigation that my legal action triggered revealed additional victims of Bradley's exploitation and activities, including other elderly family members whose private information had been documented for potential content creation. Law enforcement agencies expanded their investigation to include his entire social media network and identified accomplices who had assisted with his elder exploitation enterprise. Criminal prosecution extended beyond Bradley to include platform representatives who had failed to prevent systematic elder abuse despite multiple violation reports. Bradley's legal defense collapsed under the weight of his own documentation that provided irrefutable evidence of systematic elder exploitation and commercial monetization of medical privacy violations. His social media posts established criminal intent to exploit my cognitive condition for financial gain. His private communications revealed calculated planning to violate my dignity and privacy rights. For audience entertainment, his content creation methodology demonstrated sophisticated understanding of exploitation techniques that warranted maximum criminal penalties. The landmark legal precedent that my case established included comprehensive protection for elderly individuals against family members who would exploit medical conditions. Through social media platforms, federal courts recognized new categories of elder abuse that addressed digital exploitation and online monetization of cognitive decline. State legislatures adopted enhanced penalties for family members who violated elderly privacy rights there. Commercial content creation activities. Bradley's final attempt to escape consequences included desperate plea negotiations that offered complete admission of guilt in exchange for reduced sentences and financial penalties. Federal prosecutors rejected all compromise offers due to the systematic nature of his exploitation and the need to establish deterrent precedent for similar cases. My legal team pursued maximum penalties to ensure that Bradley's destruction would serve as warning to other family members who might consider exploiting elderly relatives for social media profit. The complete annihilation of Bradley's life exceeded his worst fears about financial consequences from his gambling debts and failed social media career. Federal prison sentences eliminated his freedom for a minimum of 15 years without possibility of early release. Civil judgments required lifetime financial payments that would consume any future earnings for. Elder abuse damages, professional destruction eliminated career opportunities that might have provided economic recovery from his legal consequences. His gambling debts that had originally motivated his exploitation of my condition became insignificant compared to the financial devastation resulting from his systematic elder abuse. Credit card obligations totaling $85,000 were dwarfed by civil damage awards exceeding $2.3 million for privacy violations and emotional distress. Monthly apartment payments of $4,200 became irrelevant when federal sentencing included permanent incarceration that eliminated his housing needs while ensuring his complete removal from society. The cosmic justice was perfectly complete. Bradley had attempted to exploit my supposed vulnerability to solve his financial problems through inheritance positioning and social media monetization. Instead, his systematic elder abuse had resulted in complete disinheritance, permanent incarceration, financial devastation, and the landmark legal precedent that my case established included comprehensive protection for elderly individuals against family members who would exploit medical conditions. Through social media platforms, federal courts recognized new categories of elder abuse that address digital exploitation and online monetization of cognitive decline. State legislatures adopted enhanced penalties for family members who violated elderly privacy rights there. Commercial content creation activities. Bradley's final attempt to escape consequences included desperate plea negotiations that offered complete admission of guilt in exchange for reduced sentences and financial penalties. Federal prosecutors rejected all compromise offers due to the systematic nature of his exploitation and the need to establish deterrent precedent for similar cases. My legal team pursued maximum penalties to ensure that Bradley's destruction would serve as warning to other family members who might consider exploiting elderly relatives for social media profit. The complete annihilation of Bradley's life exceeded his worst fears about financial consequences from his gambling debts and failed social media career. Federal prison sentences eliminated his freedom for a minimum of 15 years without possibility of early release. Civil judgments required lifetime financial payments that would consume any future earnings for. Elder abuse damages, professional destruction eliminated career opportunities that might have provided economic recovery from his legal consequences. His gambling debts that had originally motivated his exploitation of my condition became insignificant compared to the financial devastation resulting from his systematic elder abuse. Credit card obligations totaling $85,000 were dwarfed by civil damage awards exceeding $2.3 million for privacy violations and emotional distress. Monthly apartment payments of $4,200 became irrelevant when federal sentencing included permanent incarceration that eliminated his housing needs while ensuring his complete removal from society. The cosmic justice was perfectly complete. Bradley had attempted to exploit my supposed vulnerability to solve his financial problems through inheritance positioning and social media monetization. Instead, his systematic elder abuse had resulted in complete disinheritance, permanent incarceration, financial devastation, and social annihilation that would follow him for the remainder of his existence. The irony was mathematically precise. A struggling social media influencer had attempted to monetize elder exploitation against the person who had developed the legal strategies for protecting elderly individuals from exactly his type of family abuse. His confidence in my cognitive decline had collided with my professional expertise in elder protection law.